Latisha Scott just gave some shocking news, and fans of Love and Marriage, Huntsville, are very surprised. Could the show really be coming to an end after what she just said? In a recent interview, Latisha gave a hint that the future of the show might not be looking very good. Her words have made people talk a lot, and now everyone is trying to understand what is really going on. Now, the internet is full of questions about whether the well-loved reality show is really coming to an end. Fans cannot believe it and are trying to figure out the truth. At the same time, people who know what happens behind the scenes are also very concerned. Everyone is waiting to see what will happen next. Everyone wants to know what led to this big and shocking news. Was it some problems behind the scenes? Are the ratings going down? Or did something change in the cast that no one noticed? No matter what the reason is, Latisha Scott has made people very curious. Everyone is talking about it, and believe me, you will want to stay updated because we are going to share everything straight from Latisha herself. If you have been watching Love and Marriage Huntsville for a long time, then you already know. There has always been drama, but this time something feels very different. Latisha has clearly said that something big is happening, and her fans are more worried than ever. Many people are now thinking if the show could really be coming to an end. So what exactly did Latisha say that has made people think Love and Marriage Huntsville might be in danger? Right now, no one has all the answers, but what we do know is enough to make fans feel very nervous. In a very honest and open interview, Latisha shared some surprising things. She talked about the problems the cast has been dealing with, the growing tension behind the scenes, and the most shocking part was when she said the show's future might not be as safe as fans had hoped. She did not say the word cancel, but her words were strong enough to make people feel very uneasy. Now fans are waiting and wondering what will happen next, and the uncertainty is making them even more anxious. Latisha's words have made the internet go wild with questions and excitement. She said, "You all do not even know half of what happens behind the scenes. It is a lot, and right now I do not even know where things are going, especially with so much uncertainty." When a main cast member speaks about a show's future, it is a big deal. Reality stars usually stay quiet because they have strict contracts and are not allowed to talk about private things related to the show. They avoid saying anything about a show being canceled, but Latisha spoke openly. That is what makes this news so exciting. Some fans believe she was just being dramatic to make people excited for the next season. However, others think this could mean the show is really in danger. Things are looking even more suspicious now. The creator of the show, Carlos King, has not said anything at all. Usually when people start talking about a show being canceled, the network quickly steps in to clear things up. But this time there is nothing. No statements, no tweets, and no one trying to calm fans down. The complete silence is making people even more curious. Could Latisha's words really be true? Fans are now more confused than ever, and until someone finally speaks up, the questions and rumors will keep growing. What does this mean for the future of the show? When looking at everything, it seems like Love and Marriage Huntsville might be facing some challenges. The number of people watching the show has been going down, and the cast continues to have conflicts with each other. Some fans feel that the show is not as exciting as it once was. In the beginning, Love and Marriage Huntsville was a huge success. It had a large audience, and many people tuned in every week to watch the drama unfold. It quickly became one of the most talked about reality shows. However, over time, the ratings have started to decline, even though the show is not attracting as many viewers as before. It still has a group of dedicated fans who continue to watch and support it. This loyal audience could be the reason the network decides to keep it running. Reality television relies on viewers, and as long as enough people are interested, there is still a chance for the show to survive. However, networks do not just look at the number of viewers. They also consider how much attention a show is getting on social media, how well it is doing on streaming platforms, and whether advertisers are still willing to invest in it. One of the biggest problems the show is facing is the ongoing tension between cast members. Drama is a big part of reality television, but there is a fine line between entertaining conflict and something that feels too negative. Some fans have expressed that the arguments between cast members have become repetitive. Instead of new and fresh storylines, the show keeps revisiting the same issues season after season. This can make viewers lose interest, as they feel like they are watching the same thing over and over again. If the show wants to keep its audience, it may need to introduce new cast members or bring in fresh storylines to make things more engaging. Another factor that could determine the show's future is how the cast members feel about continuing. Some of them have spoken out about being unhappy with the way they are portrayed on the show. If key figures like Melody or Latisha Scott decide to leave, it could make it difficult for the network to keep the show going. Reality shows depend on strong personalities, and if too many important cast members leave, it could be a sign that the end is near. However, if the network finds a way to keep everyone on board or introduce new faces that can bring fresh energy, they might be able to extend the show's life. The network also has to think about whether the show is still financially successful. Even if live TV ratings are lower, streaming deals and advertising partnerships can still bring in money. If Love and Marriage, Huntsville is performing well on streaming platforms or making a profit through sponsorships, the network may choose to continue it despite lower ratings. Some reality shows have struggled with live TV numbers but found new life through streaming services. If the network sees that the show is still profitable in other ways, they might give it another season. At this point, nothing has been officially decided about the future of Love and Marriage, Huntsville. While there are signs that the show is struggling, it is not necessarily over just yet. The network could choose to make changes, refresh the cast, or shift the focus to keep things interesting. On the other hand, if the ratings continue to decline and the drama becomes too much for both the cast and the audience, the show might be at risk of ending. Only time will tell what happens next. Until then, fans will have to wait and see what the network decides. Stay tuned for more updates on the future of Love and Marriage, Huntsville. But when comparing the latest seasons to the older ones, it is easy to see the difference. On social media, fewer episodes are becoming popular, and some have even fallen below the number of viewers that the network thinks is safe for keeping the show on air. Could the network be getting ready to cancel it? The network, OWN, has never been afraid to cancel a show if the ratings are not high enough. Think about other shows like The Book of John Grisham and What About Love? Both of those shows had strong fan bases, but when the ratings went down, they were taken off the air. Now, fans of Love and Marriage, Huntsville are wondering if their favorite show will meet the same ending. Their ratings went down, which led to their cancellation, and now people are wondering if Love and Marriage, Huntsville will be next. The never-ending drama among the cast is not making things better either. There is a very thin line between fun drama that keeps people entertained and drama that feels too much, and sadly, Love and Marriage, Huntsville may have crossed that line. Reality TV is exciting because of strong personalities, big arguments, and the social media buzz that comes with it. But when the drama starts affecting real life in a serious way, it can push fans away. Many viewers now feel like the show has become too messy, and not in a fun or exciting way. For many seasons, the same conflicts have been repeated again and again. Melody's never-ending issues with Martell, rumors about cheating, business problems, and personal betrayals have taken over the show. On top of that, Latisha and Latisha Scott's marriage struggles have also been a big topic of discussion. Instead of bringing fresh and interesting new stories, the show seems stuck in the same cycle of arguments and problems. There are even rumors that some of the stars, especially Melody and Latisha Scott, are unhappy with how their personal lives are being shown. Some of them feel like their real struggles are being used for entertainment in a way that is unfair to them. Even the cast members are starting to feel that the show is not as exciting as before, and that is not a good sign for its future. If the people who bring the drama are no longer interested, then it could mean serious trouble. The network, OWN, depends on its reality stars to stay fully involved, and if more cast members begin to step back, the show might lose the special connection that made it popular in the first place. But the biggest question is, why has the network not said anything? Usually, if rumors were false, OWN would quickly step in and clear things up. This time, however, there is complete silence, and that is making fans even more curious. The creator of Love and Marriage, Huntsville, Carlos King, has also not spoken, which is very unusual for him. He is usually very involved, always helping the cast and making sure the show stays exciting. But now he is completely quiet, and everyone is wondering why. There are only a few possible reasons for this. Maybe OWN is still trying to decide what to do with the show, or they are secretly working on a plan to save it. Maybe Latisha said something she was not supposed to, and now the network is trying to fix the situation before things get worse. No matter the reason, the silence from the network is only making fans more eager for answers. In the past, when OWN decided to cancel a show, the cast members were usually the last ones to find out. Could that be happening again? Right now, nobody knows for sure, and until someone finally speaks up, the questions will only continue to grow. The network might already be making important decisions about the show without informing the cast. If that is true, then the end of Love and Marriage. Huntsville could be much closer than fans think. But what does all of this really mean? Is the show truly about to end? It is possible, but there is still a chance that it could be saved. Even though there are clear warning signs, there are also strong reasons why the show is still holding on. One of the biggest reasons is the loyal fan base. Even though some viewers have complained that the show has become too toxic or repetitive, a dedicated group of fans continues to watch every single week. Reality television stays on the air because of the interest and support of viewers. If the network notices that people are still excited and engaged with the show, that alone might be enough reason to keep it running. Many reality shows in the past have been saved because of their strong fan base. A well-known example is The Real Housewives of New York. When the show started to lose viewers, the network did not decide to end it immediately. Instead, they made big changes by introducing new cast members and adjusting the way the show was structured. This gave it a fresh feel and helped bring back some of the excitement. If the network behind Love and Marriage, Huntsville, sees that there is still a dedicated audience watching every episode, they could choose to take a similar approach instead of canceling it altogether. Right now, there are a lot of different ways the network could handle the situation. They could bring in fresh faces to shake things up, change the direction of the storylines, or even focus on different aspects of the cast members' lives to create a new dynamic. Fans have already shown how passionate they are about the show, and if they continue to show their support, the network might see value in making these adjustments instead of completely shutting it down. Another important thing to consider is how reality television depends on viewer reactions, especially on social media. If people are still discussing the show online, creating debates, and sharing their opinions, that is a sign that the show still has influence. Networks pay close attention to how much people talk about their shows because a strong online presence can sometimes be just as important as television ratings. Even if the number of viewers has dropped slightly, the buzz and discussions surrounding Love and Marriage, Huntsville could still help convince the network to keep it alive. There is also the financial side to think about. Networks make money not just from television ratings, but also from sponsorships, advertising deals, and streaming platforms. If Love and Marriage, Huntsville is still performing well in those areas, it might be worth keeping it on air. Sometimes, even if a show is not breaking records in live TV ratings, it can still be very successful through online streaming and reruns. If the network sees that people are watching past seasons and staying engaged, they might choose to invest in keeping it around. However, keeping the show alive is not only about fan interest and financial success. The cast also plays a big role in determining the future. If key members of the cast are no longer interested in being part of the show, it could make things more complicated. Some reality stars grow tired of sharing their personal lives on television, especially when the drama becomes overwhelming. If major stars like Melody or Latisha Scott decide to leave, the network would have to decide whether to continue without them or end the show entirely. Despite the uncertainty, there is still hope for Love and Marriage, Huntsville. If the network can make the right changes, attract new viewers, and keep the original fans excited, the show could continue for more seasons. Reality TV is unpredictable, and anything can happen. For now, all fans can do is wait and see what the network decides. If there are updates about the show's future, we will be the first to share them. Stay tuned for more news. Fan support is very important, but it is not always enough to keep a show running. The network also has to look at the financial side of things. The main question is the show still making enough money? Streaming deals and advertising sponsorships bring in a lot of income for the network. If Love and Marriage, Huntsville is still making money in these areas, the network might decide to continue the show. even if the ratings are not as strong as before. The future of a show depends a lot on syndication and streaming deals. If the show is doing well on streaming platforms, it could last much longer than people expect. Television networks do not only focus on how many people are watching the show live. They also pay attention to how the show is performing on streaming services and whether people are talking about it on social media. Sometimes, a show may not have the highest ratings on television, but it still gets a lot of attention online. If fans are actively discussing it and watching past episodes on streaming platforms, the network may see it as a sign that the show still has value. In some cases, shows with low television ratings continue for years, simply because they perform well on digital platforms. Additionally, advertising plays a huge role in a show's survival. Companies pay to have their ads played during popular TV shows, and if a network sees that advertisers are still interested in Love and Marriage, Huntsville, they might not rush to cancel it. The show may not be at its peak anymore, but if it continues to bring in revenue, there is a chance it will remain on air. Networks have to balance entertainment with business, and as long as the show remains profitable, they will find a reason to keep it going. Another thing to consider is the possibility of a spin-off. If Love and Marriage, Huntsville still has strong fan engagement but is struggling with ratings, the network might choose to create a new version of the show with a slightly different format. This has happened with many reality shows in the past. Sometimes, networks introduce new cast members or focus on different aspects of the stars' lives to bring fresh energy to the show. If the network believes there is still potential in the Love and Marriage brand, they may extend the show just long enough to set up a spin-off series. At the end of the day, the decision about whether Love and Marriage Huntsville will continue depends on a combination of factors. If the show keeps making money through advertising, streaming, and sponsorship deals, it has a good chance of surviving. However, if the network feels that the drama has become too repetitive and the ratings continue to fall, they might decide it is time to move on. Until an official announcement is made, fans will have to wait and see what happens next. There is also a chance that the network might create a spin-off. If OWN believes that certain cast members are strong enough to carry their own shows, they might keep Love and Marriage Huntsville going just long enough to prepare for that. The network could also make changes to the show's structure. They might bring in new cast members to add fresh energy, or they could focus on different aspects of the cast's lives, such as their businesses, families, or personal challenges. If the drama has become too negative, OWN might look for ways to make the show exciting again without making it feel too toxic. The network could take a softer approach while still keeping the show exciting. There are many ways to make changes, and they might decide to try one of these ideas to help the show continue. But the biggest question is, do the cast members still want to be part of it? If important stars like Melody and Latisha Scott decide to leave, it will be much harder for the network to find a reason to keep the show running. Some cast members have already shared their frustration about how their personal lives are shown on television, and that could lead them to step away from the show. If that happens, the network will have a serious decision to make. Should they end the show or try to continue without them? Even though the future of Love and Marriage Huntsville is uncertain, there is still a chance for it to survive. If OWN can refresh the show's format, attract new viewers, and keep the cast involved, then it could continue for another season. However, if the ratings keep falling, the drama becomes too overwhelming, and key cast members decide to leave, then the network may have no choice but to bring the show to an end. The final decision is coming soon, but right now, nothing is completely certain. Keep watching because we will be following every update closely. You will not want to miss the next big news about the future of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Fans are eager to know what will happen next, and the suspense is only growing as time goes on. There are so many possibilities, and everyone is trying to figure out what the network will decide. Some believe the show will continue with a few changes, while others think it may be nearing its end. The cast has been dropping hints, but nothing has been officially confirmed yet. The silence from the network only makes things more mysterious, leaving fans with more questions than answers. Will the show bring in new faces to keep things fresh? Will the current cast members decide to stay, or will some of them walk away? No matter what happens, one thing is certain: Love and Marriage Huntsville has made a huge impact, and its fans are not ready to say goodbye. As soon as there is any new information, we will share it with you, so stay tuned for all the latest updates.